The champagne flute crashes against the floor, shards scattering like diamonds under the chandelier's glow. Someone yells, "She can't breathe!" Tables screech against the floor as guests lurch from their seats. Some rush forward, others recoil in horror. The band stops playing. The once perfect evening plunges into disorder. Ryan pushes through the crowd, his pulse a deafening roar in his ears. He drops to his knees beside Lauren, his hands cupping her face. "Lauren, stay with me." His voice cracks, his fingers trembling against her clammy skin. Her pupils are dilated. Her breath, barely there. Panic sets in. "Somebody call 911." Ryan's voice is raw, a desperate plea. Lauren's lips are tinged blue, her chest barely rising. She blinks sluggishly, mouth parting as if to speak, but no words come. The bridesmaids hover nearby, tears streaking their faces. One of them fumbles for her phone, her hands trembling as she dials. The operator's voice is steady. "Stay calm. What's the emergency?" The bridesmaid chokes out, "It's the bride. She just collapsed. She can't breathe." Amid the chaos, Olivia Hayes stands motionless. Her bouquet trembles in her grip, crushed petals dropping to the floor unnoticed. She watches the scene unfold. The sobbing guests, Ryan's frantic hands, Lauren's fading form. But she doesn't move. She doesn't scream. She simply watches. Near Lauren's limp hand, a broken champagne flute lies in ruin. A bridesmaid kneels beside Ryan, her face pale. Her voice is barely above a whisper. "She only had one sip." Ryan's head jerks up. A cold realization settles over the guests. This isn't a sudden illness. This isn't exhaustion. This is something else. Something far, far worse. The sound of sirens pierces the night. Paramedics push through the stunned crowd, a stretcher ready. Police officers trail behind them, scanning the scene with trained eyes. One officer's gaze lands on Olivia. Her face is expressionless, too composed, too still. Something in her posture, something in the way she grips the ruined bouquet, feels off. She finally exhales, releasing a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. For the first time that evening, she blinks. And the police don't look away. Olivia had loved Ryan long before Lauren ever knew his name. She was there for every moment. Every late-night study session, every inside joke, every time he confided in her. But he never saw her that way. So when she introduced him to Lauren, she had told herself it was harmless. But then she saw it. That instant spark. The way Ryan's eyes lingered on Lauren just a second too long. The way his laughter deepened when she was around. It was effortless, natural. Something Olivia had never shared with him. Every touch, every lingering gaze between them was like a slow, twisting knife. She watched as Ryan placed his hand on the small of Lauren's back, an unconscious, possessive gesture. She listened to their laughter, forced herself to nod along, to smile. Lauren was her best friend. And yet she had taken what Olivia wanted most. Was she even aware? Did she know how much it hurt? At first, Olivia told herself it was fine. She could live with it. Until she realized she couldn't. Time didn't heal the wound. It made it fester. She told herself to move on. She forced herself into bad dates, empty conversations, meaningless flings. None of it helped. Because no matter what she did, her mind always circled back to that one question. Why Lauren? Why not me? The thought grew inside her, dark and relentless. And soon it was no longer a question. It was a conviction. If she couldn't have him, neither could Lauren. The envelope sat on her kitchen table, staring at her like a silent mockery. When she opened it, her fingers trembled slightly. Lauren and Ryan, request the honor of your presence. She exhaled slowly, her stomach twisting as she read the words. Then, the final blow. Lauren had chosen her as the maid of honor. It was almost cruel. She couldn't say no. That would be suspicious. That would raise questions. So, she smiled when she called Lauren, said all the right things, played the part. But something inside her cracked. The fittings, the tastings, the venue tours. It was hell. She sat beside Lauren, nodding as she gushed about floral arrangements. She held up swatches of fabric, pretending to care about shades of white that all looked the same. Lauren looked so happy, so blissfully unaware. And Olivia was drowning in rage. This should have been her wedding, and with every forced laugh, every moment of pretending, resentment took deeper root. The week before the wedding, Olivia couldn't hold it in any longer. The weight of her love, her pain, was suffocating. She found Ryan alone, adjusting his tie in front of a mirror. The way he stood there, so unaware, made her heart ache. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "It should have been us." He turned, brows furrowing, and then he laughed. A soft, easy laugh. "Olivia, come on, you're my best friend." The words landed like a slap. Best friend. Not love, not the one, just best friend. Olivia felt the blood drain from her face, but she forced a laugh, shaking her head. "God, Rye, I know. I was just messing with you," she said, rolling her eyes. He grinned, completely oblivious. But inside her, something snapped. That night, Olivia lay in bed staring at the ceiling, her body numb. She cried until her tears ran dry, but the pain didn't leave. It grew sharper, colder. Lauren had taken Ryan from her. Ryan had never even considered choosing her, and now there was nothing left. Nothing except a plan. Because if Olivia couldn't have him, neither could she. Olivia once envisioned herself as Ryan's bride. She imagined the proposal, the wedding, the life they would build together, but those dreams were nothing more than fantasies, because Ryan had chosen someone else. Lauren. Watching him look at her the way he was supposed to look at Olivia burned like acid in her veins. Every stolen moment between them was another stab to the heart. But the wedding was the final betrayal. As the days counted down, Olivia's thoughts darkened. She had spent years hoping Ryan would see the truth, that they belonged together. But now, there was no more hope. She realized something with a chilling certainty. If Ryan couldn't be hers, then no one deserved him. Lauren wouldn't make it down the aisle. She studied the details, Lauren's routines, the wedding plans, every moving piece. A crime of passion was reckless. A crime of precision was unstoppable. Olivia wasn't stupid. If she wanted to get away with this, it had to be perfect. Something subtle. Something no one would ever see coming. She imagined it. Lauren in white, standing beside Ryan, saying the vows meant for her. She pictured the first dance, the cake cutting, the moment Ryan would slide that ring onto Lauren's finger. Her stomach twisted. Lauren wasn't just stealing Ryan, she was stealing Olivia's life, but Olivia wouldn't let her. The wedding plans began unraveling. Slowly, subtly. The flower delivery was wrong. The dress needed last-minute alterations. The wedding bands briefly went missing. To everyone else, it was just bad luck. But Olivia knew better. Lauren let out a frustrated sigh as she rubbed her temples. "It's like everything is going wrong." Ryan pulled her into a hug. "It's just stress, babe. It's all going to be perfect." But Olivia saw the cracks forming. A seed of doubt had been planted, and that was enough. Through every mishap, Olivia played her role flawlessly. She was the helpful friend, stepping in at just the right moment, easing Lauren's worries. "Don't stress, Laur. It's just a small hiccup." Her smile was warm, her voice reassuring. And Lauren? She never suspected a thing. To the outside world, Olivia was just the loyal maid of honor. No one questioned the mistakes, the delays, the inconveniences. It was all just coincidence. That's what made it so easy. As the night drew to a close, Olivia lifted her glass. "Before we end this night," she said with a smile, "I'd like to make a toast." Lauren beamed. She had no idea. Olivia poured 2 glasses of champagne, careful and precise. Her hand remained steady as she reached into her pocket and retrieved the tiny vial. A few drops slipped into Lauren's glass, colorless, odorless, lethal. She swirled the drink just enough to mix the poison. This was the moment she had been waiting for. She turned to Lauren, handing her the glass with a soft smile. "To love and forever," Olivia said, lifting her own drink. Lauren laughed, raising her glass to meet Olivia's. Their eyes met. Olivia's heart pounded. She had just sealed Lauren's fate. A moment that changed everything. As Lauren sipped, Olivia held her breath. In a few moments, everything would change. She was finally getting her revenge. At first, nothing happened. Then, Lauren's fingers twitched. Her smile faltered, and a slight frown creased her forehead. "Are you okay?" Ryan asked, touching her arm. Lauren gasped suddenly, gripping the table. Her chest tightened. Breathing became difficult. "Ryan," she whispered, panic creeping into her voice. "Something's wrong." Her vision blurred. The room tilted. Lauren staggered, reaching for Ryan as her knees buckled. Her wine glass slipped from her grasp, shattering against the floor. Then, she crumpled. Screams erupted. Guests jumped from their seats. Someone called for an ambulance. Ryan dropped beside her, shaking her shoulders. "Lauren! Baby! Wake up!" Olivia stood still, watching. Her plan had worked. Olivia let out a blood-curdling scream. She rushed forward, falling to her knees beside Lauren. "Somebody do something!" she cried, tears streaming down her face. She clutched Ryan's arm, holding him back. "They need space!" she sobbed. "Let them help her." Her voice trembled, her hands shook, but it was all an act. Lauren's lips turned blue. Her chest barely moved. Then, silence. Olivia pressed a hand over her mouth, feigning devastation. Inside, she was victorious. Paramedics rushed in. The wedding had turned into a crime scene. Ryan sobbed as they worked to revive Lauren. Olivia bit her lip, her eyes glistening with fake tears. No one suspected her. Not yet, but the game had only just begun. The 911 dispatcher answered on the first ring. "911, what's your emergency?" A breath. Then a voice, steady, detached, unnervingly calm. "It's too late. You should check the champagne." A pause. "Sir, ma'am, can you repeat that?" The line went dead. The call wasn't a random prank. Investigators traced it, their fingers flying over keyboards, eyes narrowing at the data. The number was registered to no one. A burner phone. Within minutes, officers recovered it, tossed carelessly near Olivia's hotel room. Someone wanted the truth known, but not their identity. Yellow crime scene tape stretched across the grand reception hall. Guests murmured, eyes darting between officers collecting champagne glasses, bagging them in evidence. Silver trays with untouched glasses gleamed under the chandeliers. But the two emptied flutes, Lauren's and Olivia's, were what mattered, and as officers examined them, Olivia felt her stomach drop. She had been so careful, hadn't she? But her palms felt clammy. She swallowed hard, avoiding eye contact. Had she missed something? Because someone out there knew. The medical examiner removed his gloves, looking grim. "Digitalis poisoning," he announced. The detective's jaw tightened. "Fatal dose?" "Enough to stop a heart within minutes." The champagne had been spiked with death. The footage wasn't blurry, it wasn't grainy, it was damning. Olivia stood behind the bar, pouring 2 glasses of champagne. The bartender stepped forward. "She told me she wanted to do it herself, something about making the toast extra special." The room felt colder. A bridesmaid's hands trembled as she spoke. "She insisted on making the toast." A pause. She knew exactly what she was doing. Silence fell over the officers. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't an unfortunate mistake. This was murder. And Olivia was no longer just a grieving friend. She heard the whispers, felt the weight of the stares. Her throat tightened. She wanted to run, but there was nowhere left to go. Ryan couldn't stop replaying everything. The way Olivia lingered, how she inserted herself between them. Every touch, every joke. It hadn't been friendship. It had been something darker. He turned to Olivia, voice raw. "Was it you?" She didn't deny it, didn't even flinch. A single tear slipped down her cheek. "It was supposed to be me," she whispered. Ryan's stomach twisted. She wasn't crying for Lauren. She was crying for herself. His hands curled into fists. Lauren was gone. Because of her. And Olivia? She just stared, as if waiting for him to understand. She had been so careful, so meticulous. But she had made one mistake. She had underestimated him. Ryan took a step back. His voice was low, broken. "I loved her." Olivia's lips trembled. "So did I." But it wasn't love. It had never been love. It had been obsession. "Ryan, I did this for you." But he just stared through her, and in that moment, she realized. She had already lost him. Her breath hitched as she saw the officers approaching. Panic, cold and sharp. She turned, bolting for the exit. She barely made it 3 steps. Strong hands grabbed her, yanking her backward. Her heart slammed against her ribs. No. Cold metal bit into her wrists. She let out a strangled gasp, thrashing. "I didn't mean for her to die." The officers didn't flinch. Because intent didn't matter anymore. She turned toward the crowd, pleading. Eyes met hers, but there was no sympathy. No one believed her. No one would ever believe her again. She locked eyes with Ryan, but he didn't speak, didn't move. His silence was louder than anything, and that was when Olivia knew. She hadn't just lost Ryan. She had destroyed everything. The police car door slammed shut. The reality settled in. This was it. She had nothing left, not Ryan, not freedom. Just an orange jumpsuit waiting for her, the perfect crime, the perfect plan. And yet, in the end, she had lost. Lauren lay motionless, her skin pale, beneath the harsh hospital lights. Monitors beeped in an uneven rhythm, a sound that echoed through Ryan's skull. He sat at her bedside, gripping her lifeless fingers, willing warmth back into them. "Lauren, please." His voice cracked. "Come back to me." The doctors worked tirelessly, hands moving with practiced urgency, but Ryan could see it in their eyes. They already knew. The monitor emitted a long, high-pitched tone. Flatline. The room fell silent. Outside, the once grand reception hall stood like a cruel reminder. The floral arrangements, once symbols of joy, now felt like mockery. Guests lingered, their voices hushed. "How did this happen?" someone murmured. Ryan couldn't answer. A doctor stepped into the waiting room, his face grim, unreadable. Ryan stood, heart pounding. "I'm sorry," the doctor said softly. The words didn't feel real. Lauren was gone. Ryan's knees gave out. Investigators moved methodically, bagging evidence, the champagne flute, the toxicology report, the surveillance footage. The detectives weren't asking who anymore. They were only left with one question. Why? Ryan clutched Lauren's engagement ring so tightly it dug into his skin. This wasn't supposed to happen. His voice was barely a whisper. They had planned a future, not an ending. Tears blurred his vision as he whispered, "I was supposed to protect you." The courtroom was packed, but silent, and the judge's voice echoed, each syllable sealing Olivia's fate. Guilty of second-degree murder. She didn't flinch, didn't blink. But inside, the walls closed in. The judge continued, his tone final. "You are sentenced to 25 years in prison." Olivia's breath hitched. Her nails dug into her palms. She had convinced herself that she'd walk free, that she'd find a way out, but the reality crashed down. This was it. The thin mattress beneath her felt foreign. The walls, cold, unfeeling. No wedding plans, no Ryan. She clutched a photograph of the 3 of them, taken before everything fell apart, back when she still had a chance. The memories played on repeat. Ryan's smile, Lauren's laughter. That night, the poisoned champagne, the way Lauren's body collapsed. Was it worth it? She had nothing now. Nothing. Days passed. Weeks. No calls, no letters. The prison guards walked past her cell without a second glance. She was forgotten. Ryan never came. And deep down, she knew he never would. Ryan knelt before Lauren's grave. His fingers traced her name on the headstone, the letters etched in finality. "We should have been on our honeymoon," he whispered. Instead, he was here, alone. He trusted Olivia. She had been his friend. But looking back, how had he missed it? "How did I not see it?" His voice broke. Every shared moment with her, tainted. Their apartment still held Lauren's presence, her shoes by the door, the faint scent of her perfume lingering in the air. But she would never walk through that door again. Every night, he dreamed of her. The wedding played on repeat, but in his dreams, she lived. Then he'd wake up, the silence reminding him of the truth. She wasn't coming back. Would she still be alive if he had seen Olivia's obsession sooner? He would never know, but he would carry that guilt forever, and that was his life sentence. The courtroom was silent. Olivia Hayes, sentenced to 25 years in prison. The judge's voice was firm, unwavering. There were no gasps, no outbursts, only silence. Ryan sat motionless, staring at the woman he once considered a friend. Justice had been served, but it didn't feel like justice at all. Lauren was still gone. No punishment would bring her back. Ryan glanced at Lauren's parents, their hands tightly clasped, grief etched into their faces. 25 years, 50. It wouldn't matter. The gaping hole Olivia had carved into their lives would never heal. The guards gripped Olivia's arms, leading her toward the exit. She didn't struggle, didn't flinch. Her once burning obsession had turned to emptiness. She looked up, met Ryan's gaze one last time, but there was nothing left to say. Memories of Olivia flooded Ryan's mind. The way she lingered just a little too long, how her laughter never quite reached her eyes. He had brushed it off, ignored the warnings. And now, he was standing at Lauren's grave, too late to change a thing. Olivia called it love. But love doesn't kill. It doesn't steal, manipulate, or destroy. Her feelings had been twisted, warped into possession. She wanted him, but only if he had no one else. Ryan slid a hand into his pocket, fingers brushing against a small velvet box. The ring he had planned to give Lauren. It had symbolized a beginning. Instead, it marked an ending. "It should have been our forever," he whispered, "not her grave." Love can decay. 1 second, it's devotion. The next, it's resentment. Olivia's obsession rotted inside her, poisoning every thought, and in the end it had consumed her. Ryan had always believed in second chances. But some warnings came too late. Some betrayals were too deep to undo. The people closest to you aren't always the ones who love you. He would never stop wondering. If he had seen Olivia's jealousy sooner, would Lauren still be alive? He would never know. That was his sentence. Ryan turned away from the grave, the wind carrying his whispered goodbye. Sometimes, the deadliest enemy isn't a stranger. It's the one who stands beside you, smiling.